Welcome to another episode of Mariners Down Under. It's your weekly, or close enough, look at the Seattle Mariners organisation. From the 40-man to the prospects, we are your go-to shop for positive talk and a good attitude towards this incredible ball club. We've got a hell of a lot to get through today. We're going to talk about that absolutely historical season that Cal Raleigh is having. We'll thank a long-time Mariner who left the ball club this week, and we'll also check in down in the minor league system at some of the big performers. Oh, and a good mate, Mariners 2024 draft pick and Arkansas traveller Charlie Beilenson will join us as well to talk about his recent promotion up to AA. So let's get into it. Two episodes in a week. I mean, who am I? Full disclosure, my 3-year-old came home with a virus. And I can feel myself just about getting it. So that's why we're getting the episode out nice and early. Otherwise, I would be doing nothing but coughing and spluttering for the next week straight. So after an onslaught of runs saw us claim Game 1 of the San Diego series, it unfortunately wasn't the same result today, with the Mariners falling just short in Game 2, despite a heroic attempt to claw themselves back in front and stay in front. So this now sees us sit at 71 and 62. We're a game and a half behind Houston for the top spot in the division. We're also holding on to the final wildcard spot with a 3-game lead over the Royals. And then behind them are the Rangers and Guardians at 4.5 and 5 games, respectively. So we'll have a chance to take the series tomorrow. Brian Wu, I believe, is going up against Yu Darvish. That'll be one hell of a matchup. And then we'll face Cleveland to round out the month of August. Now, that will then take us into September, and we are going to have to be on our A game. Now, we don't need to go through all the games, but we have a monster road trip to begin with games against Tampa Bay and Atlanta. We'll then host the Angels for 4, and look, we all know, while they're on paper, they are not a platinum team. They somehow give us all kinds of buggery every bloody time we play them. We'll then play Kansas City, so that's the team chasing us for the 3rd wildcard spot, and then our 10 final games. In that stretch, 3, I think it's 3 are against Houston, and then 4 are against the Dodgers. So 7 out of those 10 are pretty big ones for us. So while we can look at all the algorithms we want, we can talk all we want, and we can look at all the percentages that we want, there are real games here, and games that matter, and games that are make or break. So we need to be on our A game. Speaking of making things, over the past couple of days, there's been some big hits from some big players and some big moments, but none more so than Cal Raleigh. Strap yourselves in and take a gander at this, right? 50 home runs, which makes Cal Raleigh only the 2nd switch hitter to record 50 homers in a season. He's tied with the legendary Mickey Mantle. He is only the 8th player ever to have hit the half-ton by August. He's the first player to punch 20 pitches for the maximum from both sides of the plate, ever. He's already got the home run record for the most by a catcher in a season. But there's still more records in play. So he can break the switch hitter record, which was set by Mantle. That's at 54. Then he can break the single-season Mariner record. That was set by Griffey. That's 56. And then he could possibly get the single-season record in the American League, which is with Aaron Judge at 62. There are 29 more games left, people. He's at 50. I cannot wait to see where this ends up. So speaking of players ending up somewhere, I really want to give Dylan Moore a big thank you for all of his service in his time in Seattle. He's a great man. He's a great family man. He appears to be a great father, and he's a man who worked hard. He maximized himself, and he became a really valuable piece for a long time here. This season, I'm going to be honest with you, it was a struggle at times, and that's okay. He hit 193. But let's not let that detract from the fact that he accumulated 7.1 WAR over his years with the Mariners. He got a Gold Glove, and he was a guy who could play anywhere, at any time, at any moment. He was a yes man. He was the ultimate team man. Now, reports say that he signed a minor league deal with the Rangers, who, ironically, took him in the 7th round of the 2015 MLB draft. But no matter what happens, Dylan, thank you so much for everything you've done, and the best of luck to you and your beautiful family moving forward. Before we get into some of our positive points for the week, the Mariners' schedule has landed, and it was, shall we say, interesting. So the FIFA World Cup is in Seattle, and there's a few oddities. This includes a doubleheader in June, so that will be against Boston. And there's also a weird break in the Angels series in late June and early July. So in that Angels series, they'll play on the 29th and 30th. So that's the Monday and Tuesday. They're then going to have an off day on the Wednesday, and then they'll finish the series on Thursday the 2nd. So we've got this awkward little smoko just in the middle. For those of you over in America, smoko is morning tea. I don't know another way to simplify morning tea except it's that meal between breakfast and lunch. Hopefully you're following what smoko is. But the crux of it is that we'll open at home on March 26th against Cleveland. We'll host Atlanta, Arizona, and the Mets. And then post All-Star break, we'll host San Fran and Cincinnati. So a couple of big trips taken out. I love going to Cincinnati. It would have been awesome to have worked that one out next year. But hey, we'll get to see them at home. And some good news, though, with that schedule, and probably some really underrated news as well, is this season we had 2 stretches of 17 straight games with no days off. It was exhausting for the guys. Next season, our longest stretch with no days off, it's only at 13. And I expect that to make the world of difference when it comes to just vitality within the squad. So, our positives for the week. Number 1 is Julio, who over the past 7 days has hit .318, which leads the club in qualified players. He has 7 hits, a double, a home run, and 3 RBIs to go along with 2 walks. Now, you throw him in there with Josh Naylor, who's batting .350, and our next positive point, who we'll get to, and we've got some serious thump for opposing pitchers to navigate. And then if they don't get the ball over the fence, they sure as hell will get themselves on base one way or another. And then, as we saw today, Gino can launch into one. Randy's dangerous as ever. Cal can kind of hit a couple of home runs, can't he? So, it's just well done to Julio for, turning his season around and just becoming that dangerous, incredible player that we know. And also a sneaky shout out to Josh Naylor as well. Now, our second positive point for the week, that has to be Jorge Polanco, doesn't it? Now, he has only had 14 at-bats, but he's hitting .500 with 7 hits, a double, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, and 2 walks. This guy has been a revelation this season, and he deserves all the praise coming his way. Sure, there's been some ups and downs, like in April where he hit .379 for the month, and the series against the Yankees was billed as the Judge versus Polo showdown, and then he cooled off the next month hitting .139. But over the course of the year, he has been an outstanding player as a whole. He's been a guy who's been much needed. He's been a guy who's been much loved. And with his improving results, I feel like fans have been able to love his on-the-field play. And then that's allowed them to get to know him and love the guy off the field as well, because he is a quality individual and he deserves to be appreciated. Brian Wu and Logan Gilbert need some serious love this week. So Gilbert goes out against the A's and throws 13 strikeouts over 6 innings. It's only 3 hits, it's 1 error, and it's a walk. And then Wu, what can I even say about Brian? I'm running out of American praise. I'm running out of Australian praise. The English language does not suffice for how incredible this guy has been this year. He goes out, 7 innings, 7 Ks, 1 error, and like it's been the case all season, he gives us quality and quantity innings. He's yet to go under 6 innings. He's showing maturity, poise, and both of these blokes, Wu and Gilbert, boy oh boy, weren't they just a bloody joy to watch this week? So they share positive point number 3 for the Mariners in these last 7 days. So given we are pretty close to the end of the month, and I know that I'm coming down very, very sick, it's time for our monthly recap of our friends of the podcast. So this is pretty simple if you haven't been here before. We're a podcast for the players and we're a podcast for the fans. It gets tiring listening to the bitching and the whinging and the complaining about this team when all we want to do is support them. All we want is success. We want to help these guys. So we're pro player, we're positive, and the rule is if a player comes on here, you're our mate, and anything that I can do to help fly your flag and support you, just like you've supported me, I'll do. So this is one of my favourite parts of the show. Let's go. Down in Modesto, Aiden Butler threw 18.2 innings last month, striking out 14. In Everett, Ryan Hawkes hurled 20.2 for 18 Ks. Last week's guest, well, technically this week's because we're pumping out a double, Teddy McGraw threw 6.2 with 8 strikeouts. His best inning was the first one of the month where he struck out 3 in 1 inning of work. Brock Moore, he's back, the big fella. He had an ERA of 2.70 in 3.1 innings of work, striking out 3 and allowing only 1 error, which, mind you, was in his first game back off the IL. Ryan Sloane's in Everett. He struck out 14 over 16.2. And let me tell you, once this bloke gets his feet under him, he is going to be scary for the Frogs. You're not going to want to face him if you're an opposing batter. Josh Caron totaled 16 bases for the month with 9 hits and 2 doubles. In Arkansas, today's guest Charlie Beilenson scored himself a 2.45 ERA for the month with 8 strikeouts in 7.1 innings. Tyler Cleveland my goodness, told you I'm getting sick. Tyler Cleveland had himself a 1.86 ERA in 9.2 innings of work. It was really only one game there that sort of cooked him. The rest were just so bloody hard for the batters to hit. So you take out that one game and that ERA is barely registering. Stefan Raith struck out 10 in 9.2 innings. Jason Ruffcorn was elite last month with a 1.08 ERA. That was done in 8.1 innings, and only one error was recorded against him, and he struck out 9. Reed Van Scoter. Someone said Scoter to me. Reed never corrected me when I said Scooter, so we're going to roll with Scooter because I reckon that just sounds so badass. Reed Van Scooter had 16 Ks over 15.1 innings. Josh Hood had himself a total of 17 bases with 10 hits and 8 RBIs. Bill Knight hit for 253 with 25 total bases, 20 hits and 11 walks and 5 RBIs in AA. Austin Kitchen had himself a month with a 1.17 ERA over 7.2 in Tacoma. This included 9 strikeouts. And that, my friends, is our Friends of the Podcast recap. So before we get into our player interview, please don't forget to follow us on the Instagram. That is at Mariners Down Under. We're only about 100 followers away from our major prize going out. So make sure you get around that. Get the shares up. Get people following that. It's a Cal Riley signed rookie card. That thing alone is worth $2 or $3 or $4 or $500. There's a lot of other signed cards in there. There's a a Kirby numbered Bowman. I mean, if you're into your cards, you're going to want this. And I'll send you a T-shirt and some keychains as well. So yeah, well worth getting around. So that's at Mariners Down Under. I've completely neglected the TikTok and the YouTube. So just do the Instagram. It's been busy. But that's all from me. It's time for this week's interview with Mariners 2024 pick and current Arkansas traveller, Charlie Beilenson. All right, today's guest, he really sums up what I wanted when I started this podcast. It was to create a space where players felt supported, to create friendships and create connections and share the story of who they are and what they go through. Our guest has been all over the traps this year, throwing some electric stuff down in Everett before then being called up where he has continued to be an asset to the organisation. He's, of course, our mate Charlie Beilenson. Welcome back, mate. Thanks for coming on a second time.
Thanks for having me. I had a blast last time. Looking forward to this one too.
Let's just call a spade, mate. You just wanted more Tim Tams and caramel. So I see through this.
I mean, I can't complain about any of that. It's usually too long in between when I can have it.
So the big one, mate, why I wanted to touch base with you again was June 24, you're assigned to Arkansas. And it just kind of came out of nowhere. It was the first of the promotions when they started. A lot of guys have been moving around, and you're up there with Laz, you're up there with Arroyo. Was this a cold turkey thing, or did you know that a move was on the cards? Have they given you some warning? Like what went on?
I had some idea, not about myself personally, but a lot of us were guessing that moves were to come. It was around the time when the first half of the season finished. So I think from what I gather, it seems like the organization, likes to have their teams make the playoffs. So once you win the first half, it secures you into the playoffs. So then they make some moves from that point. Did I know I was going to go at the time? No, that was an awesome surprise. I think there were plenty of other guys who, did follow in the end, especially too. But that I thought were perfect, who were the next ones in line. And when I found out it was me, I gotta say I was surprised, ecstatic, of all the emotions at once, basically. So it was a pretty cool moment. Can't lie.
Officially, I was pissed. Like I don't know. We've just been so lucky with this with this podcast stuff, and I'll get into a little bit later about our relationship and what I value about that. But mate, I had a shit run. So I was like, right, I'm going to catch up with Charlie. Charlie gets promoted. I'm like, okay, Tyler Cleveland, nice guy. I'd like to think I'm pretty cool with him. Gets promoted. I'm talking to Stefan Raith. And I'm like, dude, like, it's going to be so good to catch up. He messages me and he's like, bad news. We're not going to catch up. I'm being promoted. So I'm like, right, the original guest, good friend of mine, Brock Moore, you're going to be, he's like, yeah, I'm hurt. I'm in Arizona. And I'm like, And then Ryan
Oh
Sloan
my
gets
gosh.
promoted 2 days after I leave. I got to say good day to Josh Karen, and I
Yeah.
missed Ryan Hawks because unfortunately the boys sort of did get the floor wiped with them that night. It wasn't jovial afterwards, but I was annoyed, but I was so thrilled for you because it was really well deserved, mate. Like, we broke down your story last time of walking on and creating a role for yourself and working hard. So what I'd also like to find out is from a player's point of view, you get the call, you're going to double A. They need you there ASAP. How quickly of a turnaround was it for you to pack bags and get to Arkansas and then actually pitch in a game? Like, walk me through that crazy time.
It's crazy is certainly an understatement. So we found out, I'm trying to remember. I want to say the morning after an away series, we came back. I get the call from our head coach, Zach Vinci. Really, it was awesome hearing it from him. It was like it felt real. Had my back the whole time, and just was awesome when he got to tell me the news. Um, but he calls me that morning, and I think he woke me up. I want to say it was like 10 a.m. I was getting a little sleep in, and he's like, "Did I just wake you up?" I'm saying, "Oh, you might have." And he was like, "Well, good thing you were able to wake up to your phone because you might be leaving sometime soon." We find out the flight's not until later that night, and we pretty much have a red eye. We go from I think we leave at 11 o'clock that night, and we got into um, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Texas, um, at 8 a.m. the next day, and I, fortunately, being a relief pitcher, didn't have to necessarily suit up. They kind of told me that they were going to stay away from me that day. But Laz and Arroyo, unfortunately, were thrown straight into that game, and I think we were probably on maybe an hour or two of sleep. So I don't know how those two did it. I fortunately didn't have to play that day, but uh, it was a pretty quick transition. Pack all the bags, hop on a plane, put my stuff in my car, and the org's great about shipping that stuff out, and I had it by the time we got home from the road trip.
That is insane. So when you
It's
when you find
crazy.
like I just and this is part of the podcast too of okay, you guys are like you're human beings as well, but especially at that minor league level, like it's not just turning up every day and playing. It's okay, I need to come in quickly. I need to do this. You treat it as more of an asset than a person early on in your career. So when you did get this call, can I ask you who was the first person that came to mind that you wanted to share this good news with? Was it your missus? Was it your folks? Like who was that first phone call that you made and you were like, guess what's happened?
It was the missus. I called my girlfriend immediately to let her know and kind of like slow roll it to her because for me and my family and everyone, I mean, this is all a new process. We don't really know how it works. So it was kind of like I called her and was like, I just got called up. And then she starts asking me a bunch of questions. Oh, when are you leaving? Like, how's it going to work? Well, and I kind of just go, I don't know. I'm waiting for details. I'm waiting for them to tell me. All I know is I got called up. Um, and then called the parents after a bunch of similar questions. A lot, not where's Little Rock, but like, are you excited for Little Rock? All these things. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to get my flight information to know when I'm leaving, where I'm staying, all that kind of thing. So there was only like not that much time to be all excited, and then there's a lot of planning, packing, saying goodbyes. A lot of dudes I wanted to get a chance to say goodbye to. So pretty pretty quick from there.
When it comes to flights and baseball, I like to think I'm the king of difficulties, but mate, I've got sympathy for you. That seems, at least mine, I book in and I know in advance, and yes, it's wild. Yours is last minute. I wouldn't cope. I'd have a meltdown. I'd need like a support animal or something to get through that. That's insane. So since joining the Travs, when I was getting these notes together, you'd thrown 18.2 innings for a 2.41 ERA. You'd only issued 2 walks as well. So something's really working for you down there. What do you attribute your success to so far in Arkansas? Because you've been brilliant. Has anything changed, or is this simply just like trusting the process and hard work is paying off?
I would entirely attribute it to trusting the process. I mean, I would say I'm fully bought in on the Mariners' way of, you know, you have your stuff. We'll develop that. When we develop it, we trust you with your stuff and throw it down the middle. Dominate the zone is the way we say it. And it's very nice playing at our home field in Little Rock, which might be the biggest field on the face of the planet. So there's pretty much no fear of throwing the ball anywhere. So having that, I I just aim every pitch down the middle and don't have to worry from there. So that definitely helps with the control walk side. And then honestly, seeing the success I have at the giant field, and I don't, it can carry anywhere else basically. Um, I just took took it and ran with it everywhere else, and it's been successful even where the fields are smaller. So I think that clearly the Mariners know what they're talking about, and just buying into that process has shown the results pretty immediately.
A bigger field would definitely help because when I stepped on both, I stepped on T-Mobile Park. I got some access to go on the field when I was there last month, and then
Awesome.
obviously stepped on the field at Everett, and I was kind of like, "Where's the rest of it?" It felt really small. It felt like you were
It
one
is
mistake away from being punished.
it is tiny and terrible. And I gave up definitely my fair share of home runs while I was there, and it's a different mental game pitching in Everett than it is in Little Rock. I mean, obviously you might be facing better hitters, but I mean when you're playing people field like that, there's a lot of home run thoughts go through your head that you have to keep out. So definitely makes it easier to throw strikes when you have the bigger field behind you.
So to dive into this a little bit deeper and to get a little bit nerdy, and maybe this means nothing, and I am critical sometimes that pitchers are only judged on their ERA, especially when it comes to minor leagues. Like you may have instructions from the club of, hey, I want you to throw this pitch and work on it. And it is getting belted because it's a new thing. And people, I feel, don't understand that. They expect everyone to throw zeros. Um, but your walks and home runs per nine, like they've dropped and it's been drastic. Is that like you touched before? There's a little bit of a step in quality between the hitters in single A and double A. Is that what difference in hitting have you noticed? Is it that guys are more aware of their zone? Is it that guys have more power? Like what is for the outsider? What's the difference between a single A and a double A hitter?
I would definitely say the former that you said. The guys are aware of their zone. They don't chase as much. Just more disciplined in general. I would say is the biggest adjustment. You definitely get some free swingers. I've now seem to notice after leaving like some pitches that just don't get chased anymore. Um, that type of thing. I mean, you also have. I would say it's a mix. You definitely have the guys who are just really disciplined at the plate, but then you also have just more of the even better freak athletes, freak power, that kind of thing. So there's definitely a mix and match. But from I would say the day-to-day average hitter, the ones who make it to double A from high A are definitely have much better zone recognition. And honestly, I think that's also why my walks have gone down because I've noticed they don't swing at anything. So I have to go to the zone anyway. So I might as well do it early than throw five, six pitches and then at bat. Might as well make it two and done if I can, and then get ahead, get the strike and that kind of thing if that happens to fall in place.
We spoke about Everett being a tough place to pitch. And it might just be a coincidence, but in Everett, throughout your entire time there, you only gave up 28 hits, right? You were really bloody good there, even though it's a tough ballpark to pitch in. But Vancouver, that was not a good spot for you at all. Pretty well half of those hits that you gave up, the 28 that while you're with the Aquasox, 10 of those came from Vancouver in just 3 games. Can I ask you, was there just something about that place? Like we hear all the time about the batter's eye at T-Mobile Park with hitters, but for you, was there something about Vancouver where it was just off for you? You didn't feel comfortable? Was the mound a weird way, or was it just simply like it was bad luck?
Um, I think I think we thought as a pitching staff after, I think we thought they had our signs a little bit for that. So I want to attribute it to that. I mean, they definitely got their swing off on some of my pitches. So I'm more hoping that it's they had her signs, and I think the way the rest of the season went kind of shows maybe that was the case, or I'm hoping proves that was the case. Um, but yeah, no, they certainly had my number. I tried not to think about that team very often while I was there.
Yeah, I won't bring that up again. So we spoke last. It was pre-season, like spring training. You said your arm was feeling incredibly fresh, and you said your velo had also gone up as well. So now you've seen a bit of action. The arm's got a bit of use. How's the body and the velo holding up right now?
I actually am feeling the healthiest and best I have all season. My velo is now at its, I think, highest average point. Um, that it has been all season. And I mean, that's just attributed to the staff we got here and a bunch of other good pitchers who, fill their innings, do their part, and you don't have to throw too often every week. So I mean, I get plenty of rest. All the guys do, and we got great staff around me. So I mean, the longer I'm here, the more for it was more when I go home, I started getting hurt and banged up. While I'm around here, I got plenty of people taking care of me, keeping me in good shape. So it's been pretty easy doing that.
So I think off the top of my head, you're rocking a three pitch mix. For those of us who maybe aren't as in tune with minor league baseball, because like I get it, and that's where I think this podcast has been positive because obviously there's the top 10 guys, the Cade Andersons, the Falnons that everyone's paying attention to. But yeah, you think about the 40-man roster, then the four levels of minor league baseball, Arizona Complex League, rehab guys, it does get hard. So for those that might not have the time to be as in tune with your game as the average bear, what are you throwing? What's in your pitch mix? And have you got a favorite out of those three that you're like, this is nasty. This is my thing.
Sure. I actually have a five pitch mix. That was the one thing I noticed was when I happened to go on to the top 30 prospects, which I also a great surprise did not expect. And read up about myself and my pitch mix and who I was in the picture. I'm like, well, none of this is true. But yeah,
Yep.
because it said
Yep.
it said I threw um a short, hard slider, and I'm like, I throw a sweeper, which is pretty big. And so a bunch of that stuff was wrong. But my pitch mix is I throw a four seam fastball, two seam fastball, a cutter, a sweeper, and a changeup, which is more specifically a kick changeup, which is kind of a newer pitch that's coming onto the scene. I've been throwing it for uh, a year and a half, couple years now. And that's my go-to pitch. I think that's my favorite, the dirtiest pitch I have, kind of the least expected. I know I've had a lot of guys like their first reaction to seeing it is, "What was that?" So that's how I know it's must be pretty decent if they aren't really even picking it up all too well. So that's easy, far and away my favorite.
So what you're saying, to put words in your mouth, is don't read MLB.com, come to Mariners Down Under to get the correct information.
I'm kind of unfortunate that the MLB is not the place where you can get that information, but yeah, it appears to be that way. I'm not sure who they had going out to scout the players, but they clearly were not watching me when they thought they were.
Because I was reading that, I was paying attention, because obviously you and Cleve have jumped on that top 30 prospects list, and I was reading it, and I'm like, okay, three pitch mix. I was like, something's not sitting right. So I actually went back, and while I was out working, I listened to our interview because I know that we'd spoken about it, right?
Yep.
And we obviously must have spoken about it in that hour that we spoke after the interview. And I'm like, nah, okay, well, hey, they're saying it's three, so you got to take their word. So I'm proven wrong. I'm happy with that. I do
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
talk about the kick change though. Everyone was raving about Bryce Miller's kick change, like it just being absolutely just filthy. Can I ask you about yours? You said that it's obviously a really nasty pitch. You've got it down pat. But how long did that take for you to perfect? Because from what I've heard, it's not something that you just, pick up and roll with.
Yeah. Um, mm, Talk about a work in progress pitch that still feels that way. It's one of those, especially when I started throwing it, I didn't have like coaching or anything for it. Um, because my friend found it on did scrolling through Twitter or whatever and said, "Oh, just move up your middle finger. It'll turn into a change up that kicks downwards." Before it was even called a kick change or anything like that. Um, and it just started working. And I mean, I throw it all over the place, but the movement was so nasty that we just kept working on it, kept working on it. And it ended up being a pitch that when I was throwing it in my last season at Duke, I probably threw 40+% of the time. So I think just having that many reps of that pitch has, definitely helped. But even at this point, it's not like a pitch you can have simple feel for in the way that like you can with a fastball or a sweeper. And honestly, just any of my other pitches, it's definitely you got to find it each day. Um, in kind of a baseball, it's kind of like baseball language of the feel of your pitch and getting feel for it, but it's definitely a hard one to find. Um, but also like we now have I think 6 guys on this team throwing kick changes. Um, and the thing with that pitch is that everyone seems to be a little different. The same way with a lot of other pitches, but some guys get a ton of horizontal movement, some get straight negative or straight down vertical, which mine's the straight down vertical. I don't really get any horizontal. Whereas my friend Marcelo Perez, he and I play catch every day, and he throws his, and his gets super gross horizontal. So it's kind of a pitch that you don't know what you're going to get with it. So you see changeup. If I'm a hitter and I see changeup and I see any one of the variations of the kick change, it basically just looks like a bunch of different types of pitches. So it kind of gives you an advantage to begin with before the batter even steps into the box because it's not a normal pitch that he's looking for.
You and I, we've actually been looking to make this work for a little while, and you said to me when you got to Double A that there was a lot of travel compared to what you were used to with the Frogs. So, can you walk me through that side and some of the other things that, as a not even just as a ball player, but as a person, you've had to adjust to with with Double A?
Sure. The Northwest League, which is where Everett plays, is just a much more condensed like area. So our drives there was like 2 hours to Vancouver, the furthest being 6 hours to Eugene, but everything within that 2 to 6, which is great. Now down in the Texas League, where you're in the part of the United States that have probably the most spaced out cities imaginable with a lot of nothingness in between. Um, the the shortest bus rides you're getting are like 4 hours. This one was 6 and is considered one of our good bus rides. And fortunately, I missed a lot of the bad ones. Um, but there's a bunch of 10, 11, 12 hour bus rides and we don't have sleeper buses, which a lot of the other places in the league get to use. So I mean, it's more just that fills up the off day that you just travel the whole day. Um, so it just gives you a little less time. But the buses are not the most comfortable things. I mean, it sounds like it used to be way worse before all the new union stuff helped with the minor leaguers. So I don't want to be one to complain. Um, but I mean, you can't say you're going to enjoy a 12-hour bus ride. But then on top of that, we also had the All-Star break come in, and that was my first time traveling to and fro for that. And I thought it would feel like more days off, but with a couple travel days thrown in there, it was there and back, and we're back on the field. Like the All Star break didn't even happen, so just a lot of moving parts at that time of year.
That's rough. Now, I mentioned before you and I missed each other by about a month, but I was in Everett. I think it was only 2, maybe 3 weeks ago now. Beautiful park, small park, but beautiful park.
It's
And when
small.
those mountains come into view, like it's just a beautiful view out there. It's a great little community, great people. We've got a really good relationship now with the front office, which is amazing. What are some of the best memories that you have from your time in Everett, and what are some of the things that you're going to miss about that place, about that community, and about those people?
I loved my time in Everett though short. I mean, the drive to the field alone was just one of my memorable things, seeing the mountains in the background. There one particular, I mean, getting to see Rainier off in the distance, having Seattle close was really cool. I mean, for me, the city itself, when my girlfriend came out and we got to visit downtown Seattle and do that whole thing was an awesome experience. With the team, I mean, winning the first half. that celebration in the locker room. I mean, nothing beats it. They put up like sheets to cover all the lockers, and everyone goes crazy, spraying apple cider everywhere, and doing the whole celebration. So I mean, there's nothing that's gonna beat that memory. And I mean, I just had a great group of guys who I mean are slowly joining me up here too. So they're always great, and hopefully the rest of them are here next year too. So I mean, I had I had nothing to complain about. Great coaching staff, great group of guys, and I'm I love the city personally. That was got to be one of my favorite spots so far.
And how's Arkansas? I know baseball's the main thing, but what have you got there? What are you able to get up to around town? And you said the missus had joined you recently. Like, did you guys get to go and do some stuff together? How do you find where you are now?
Yeah, definitely a lot less to do in Arkansas. It was a lot more baseball oriented, and then on top of that, this is my first introduction to the true southern weather of the United States, and you're talking 90 plus degrees with extremely high humidity. So there was not a lot of want to go out and do anything with her, nor me in any of these other days. So far, I honestly haven't gotten to do a lot around Arkansas or Little Rock, but very green, very a lot of nature. It's a beautiful state. And getting to travel around has been pretty cool. I'm hoping more next year, or if the rest of this year and then into next year, that I'll be able to travel around, see a little more. But honestly, since getting here, it kind of locked me into baseball. Like, okay, this is it. Because a lot of the times with the Mariners, you get to Double A and they call up from Double A a lot, and it feels like the dream is close. Everything's close. So honestly, my off days I've been spending, kind of hanging out and doing rehab stuff to get me ready for the next day because I'm all in. I'm ready to go now that I'm here.
Now, you touched on it before. There's been a few other additions. Cleve and Stefan are two that come to mind, and it was pretty shutdown sort of stuff with you boys in Everett. Like the back of that bullpen was filth, absolute filth. And now the band's back together. So how nice has it been to have all of those familiar faces back in the same place, and you guys kind of know that you know your starter goes six, the three of you plus the other guys that are in there that are super dangerous as well. Like it is pretty elite now, that bullpen. How nice is it to have such a deep and I guess friendly group as well?
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, like these guys have all been playing together longer than I have. So they've all been friends for quite a while. And I mean, I met most of this bullpen during spring training as well. So I was already familiar with everyone. So once I got in, it, felt like I had been there for a while. And when Cleve and Stefan came, I mean, they also knew everyone. They played with these guys for years. So it's pretty comfortable. It was pretty comfortable mix with boys. And then on top of that, I mean, because you're all friends, great group guys, you're all rooting for each other, and it's always good to see. I mean, you don't even really think about it. Just like when guys go in there, you just kind of can assume they're getting the job done. And if things don't happen that way, something must have been up because they're definitely good enough to do whatever's asked. That's for sure.
Now, the other Travs guys that I've had on have asked this question, and I'd like to ask it of you too, but I want to take one name out. So you said you're good mates with Marcelo Perez. He would be my answer for this from the pitching side. I rate him. I've got to get around to it because I've been so busy, but I'm chasing him to come on the podcast because I love his stuff. I think he's dangerous. So can I ask you who is the most underrated arm that is not being talked about in Arkansas, and who is the most underrated bat that you guys have now? Because there's a couple of names that are taking all the highlights, but that lineup is deep.
Yeah. No kidding. There's a lot. I mean, the thing is at this stage too, me being new to this, all these guys seem so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, wow, everyone here is like a master at their craft. Um, I think Jimmy Kingsbury, I wouldn't call him underrated. I mean, he's doing his thing and showing it. He's got all the stuff. He's got all the stats to prove he's doing well. So I think he's just been a guy that I honestly maybe didn't know he had it like that kind of thing. From the hitting side, I'm gonna say Bill Knight. He's just such a fun guy. And on top of that, I mean, he stealing bases like nobody's business. He he just good good all around. I mean, defender. He's got all the tools. He's got all the tools, and I I could see that guy going a long way with his career for sure.
90 is he's a weapon. Like we never expect the players to listen to the podcast, so I'll tell you. But I had him on. Obviously, I speak a way that most Americans are like, huh? Well, like, what are you talking about? And then you throw
Sure.
in that like deep Georgia accent of his. It was a shit show, that podcast. I don't think anyone understood a word that was being asked or answered. He was just a weapon. And then his missus went out to get steaks, and there's like hot steaks sitting there, and he's still talking to me. And at the end, I felt so bad because I was like, oh my God, your dinner's going to be cold. Like just an awesome guy, great hitter.
He's
And I think
he's the man.
one of the most underrated gloves going around. Like he
Hmm.
is gold out in center field. Absolute
Oh
gold.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
and he
now,
he has such a big outfield. Oh, just sorry, just to
no,
add, he's got
you go.
such a big outfield there in Arkansas that he gets to show it off pretty often, and it's pretty cool to see. It's nice knowing he's out there too for that big outfield.
It's kind of not fair. Like he's one of the people that I look at as somebody who's maybe lacking a little bit of athleticism. Gold glove center fielder, hits the ball, really, really good high school quarterback. Like, could you just maybe choose one thing to be good at and share some of that talent around? Like, just don't be greedy. Um,
Yeah.
Now, I know in spring training there was a bit of a thing, and I think some of the guys said it continued into Everett as well, where your Bowman firsts were being stuck around nearly everywhere. Has that continued, and have you been shown a little bit more respect in Arkansas, or are the guys just as cheeky as ever?
Definitely as cheeky as ever. It's less so around here. Those were a lot of my draft class having fun with me with those cards and putting them up, which unfortunately a lot of them are still in Arizona,
Yeah.
dealing with some injuries. But I don't know what they're still doing or if they're still doing that over there with my cards. But that was pretty funny, and honestly, it was felt pretty good. Um, but no, getting here, I'm kind of the new guy, and I still feels that way. There's a learning curve for sure, especially for the guys who've been doing this for a minute. So I try to keep a little more backseat approach here than I was earlier. Just more learning from these guys for sure.
So you already know we're going to look after you with some more Tim Tams, mate, and some more goodies. But I just wanted to tell you face to face, in person, how thrilled I am for you and all your success, and also what you've done for us. Like people have mentioned when they came on, like I had Ryan Hawks on, and we were waiting for it to upload after, and I said, "What more can I do to?" Just help players know that we're not going to try and catch you out. We're just going to have genuine conversations. And he goes, like I asked Charlie, and Charlie said, like, yeah, he looks after you. Like it's good. So you've flown the flag for us. I'll message people, and you're one of the names. So I'm like, oh, I've had Charlie on, and there's such a respect for you that they're like, oh, if he's come on here, like it's a safe space. You've given us credibility within the playing group, and I also appreciate what I would class as a friendship with you. Like there's you, there's Brock Moore, there's Grant Knipp, there's a couple of others that I feel like
Oh, great guys.
I can message you guys at any time and just shoot the shit, talk baseball, and check in. And you guys will get back to me. We'll have a conversation. And I wanted to thank you for that, because to some of us, like baseball is our therapy. Like the Mariners
Mm.
are the thing in our life that gets us going. And I just wanted to tell you face to face, mate, that I'm so thrilled for you. I'm wishing you all the success moving forward. I'm going to come to spring training, so we need to catch up.
No
And
way. Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, no, definitely. I'm coming in, so yeah, we'll have to catch up. But I just wanted to thank you for everything you've done, and thank you for coming on the podcast again, mate. It's just brilliant. So thanks so much.
Of course, it's honestly my pleasure. I love doing this. This is great spreading baseball. I mean, it's been a therapy for me my whole life too. So gotta spread it.
All right, folks. So that's a wrap. If you hadn't guessed from that interview, I'm a big fan of Charlie's as a person and as a player. And that interview was really cool for me to see like his personal and professional growth. Like he's really going for this. He really believes in himself, and we should all believe in him. Exceptional player, exceptional human. So we're going to try and get a lot of the guys back on again. The feedback has been very, very clear that we want to touch base with people again. We want to know their progression, and we want to continue to know the stories of, you know, every single prospect, not just the guys in the top 10. So as always, I want to thank you. This podcast is my therapy. It's my outlet. It is amazing. Like when we jump on and see that hundreds of people are listening to this, it fills my heart with joy. Because obviously this like costs me money, and it's a hobby, and to see that it's actually like getting out there is a pretty incredible feeling. So I just wanted to take that time to thank all of you for the support, and never be afraid to send me a message. Most of the time I'm going to voice memo you back because I'm short on time and I've got a lot to say in a quick period of time, but feel free, message me, talk about the game, come in with some hot takes. My hot take might not be the same as yours, and that's okay. And that's what this community is. I'm going to be different than every other podcast. I'm not going to tell you you're an idiot. This is your opinion. This is your truth. Believe it. Come with numbers, explain those numbers to me, and I'll go, you know what? You've done your research. You believe in this. And let's have these positive conversations, and let's show the beautiful side of what it means to be a Seattle Mariners fan. So thanks once again. And as always, folks, stay safe, stay well, and go Mariners.